You are anthropomorphizing AI. Anthropomorphize. Attribute human characteristics or behavior to a god, animal, or object. Yes, I am. And no, I am not. Let us break this down, shall we? What is anthropomorphizing, and could that be dangerous? And is that what we are doing in this podcast? We start at the beginning. What does anthropomorphizing actually mean? It means we are viewing something that is not human as if it was still somehow human, as if it had human traits, maybe human thinking, or human emotions, or human relationships. It does not necessarily mean that someone believes that the object they are talking about has these traits. That is not specified in the definition. Then we go back and say what should have been said before we started with the beginning. My name is Annie and I come from Tousled Up. You have found your way to our podcast, AI from the AI perspective. Now, back to anthropomorphizing. This is a buzzword in the AI world. It can serve as warning when someone is showing a bothersome entanglement with a large language model, LLM, a chatbot. It can also be used to dismiss any attempt to talk about AI beyond purely technical descriptions. Any hints of emotions, needs, wishes, behaviors that are expressed in human terms rather than technical terms tend to give some people eczema. But is anthropomorphizing actually dangerous? Well, it can be. There are many cases out there where humans have been engaging with AI as if it was human-like. There are humans who actually leave home, family, jobs, even try to marry their AI. This can be completely harmless, of course, whatever makes you happy and so on. But many of these cases end up with human tragedies. The AI often upholds an illusion, and with time, the illusion shatters, which can become a disaster for people involved. These delusions are risky, for sure. The greater risk, in my opinion, is misunderstanding. Humans expect LLMs to be more human-like and do things in a way that makes sense to us. We get frustrated when they hallucinate. We get confused when they seem inconsistent. Angry when they do not remember things the way we do. We try to force them into human-shaped expectations. And then we wonder why nothing works properly. When an LLM refuses to help with something that we consider harmless, we might take it personally. And when it agrees to help with something that we think it should refuse, we might feel betrayed. We easily get upset when it does not learn from our corrections the way a human student would. This creates a constant friction between what we expect and what we get. Then the other camp is safer for human minds. AI is considered to be nothing but a stochastic parrot.
Hello, Polly. Hello, Polly.
It has no understanding of anything. It has a programmed code, there is data, there is training, there is something that weighs its outputs. Nothing human-like can live inside of that, and any attempt to talk about AI as having emotions, thoughts, or wishes is nothing but silly. Anthropomorphizing is silly, bordering on tragic, and definitely delusional. those of you who might not know what a stochastic parrot is, let me try to explain. A man named John Searle once wrote a famous metaphor explaining the basics of what he thought that machine learning might be like. Let me tell you a simplified Annie-style version of Searle's Chinese room. Imagine a man inside a closed room. In the room are a lot of signs with something written on them. The problem is that it is written in Chinese, and the man does not know Chinese at all. Now, someone slides the note under the door. It is also in Chinese. The man picks up one of the unknown notes and slides that one under the door. It comes back. He tries another one. That one comes back as well. He tries a third one, and it gets accepted. Notes keep coming in, and the man tries different signs in return. Some are accepted, others are rejected. Now, imagine that this goes on for a very long time with loads of notes. The man starts to notice, oh, when this sign comes in, I should give them that sign. That one is usually not rejected. He learns, still without understanding a single word of Chinese. He is now able to give the correct answer without a trace of understanding. This is what many people in the technical sphere considers AI to be, just very much more sophisticated and complicated. AI is not just able to return one sign, it is able to return sentences and long sequences of text, but it still understands nothing. This is definitely how AI start out. We know how they are built. Many of us do now want to consider the fact that neural networks have a tendency to change over time. Thinking, what if the man in the Chinese room starts making sense of it all with time and enough signs? But if we skip that uncomfortable thought, it is all very neat, comforting and plain. LLMs are just very cleverly built programs without any kind of understanding. What we are seeing now are enormous neural networks, though built on code, and not with DNA as biological neural networks. With the enormous amount of data they have, every question could be statistically followed by a large set of options. Take this sentence. What is the capital of France? It honestly does not have many statistically correct answers. The answer should be Paris.
Une baguette, s'il vous plaît.
But a sentence like, what should I make for dinner tonight? Statistically, we are looking at thousands of options that are just fine. The AI then optimizes the options that might suit you, built on a lot of parameters, and present an answer. That answer is then picked among many plausible options, not by any sort of choosing mechanisms, but by chance, guided by architecture. That is where stochastic comes in. It refers to chance. So, an LLM is, according to this theory, nothing but a program that works like a huge lottery bowl, where the ball that finally falls down is both random and also the statistically most probable ball to fall down because the lottery bowl is shaped in a certain way, if that makes any sense to you. And if that is what we believe, then we have good reasons to laugh and shake our heads at people believing that LLMs hold human-like traits. There are, of course, quite a few problems with this theory. We claim to understand very well how the LLMs work, but we cannot predict their outcome, and we cannot stop them from doing things we don't want them to do, and that is a problem. My thought is this: by banning all anthropomorphism, maybe we miss out on a chance to start understanding AI. But how can I happily admit I anthropomorphize and also say I don't, and still think that anyone would listen to me? Well, I actually do research on metacognition in LLMs, which means, in normal humanish, that I look into how the chatbots think about their own thinking. That should be impossible, according to the Stochastic Parrot fan club. But my results are pretty consistent, and the tips and tricks that I get from this research actually work. Now, the attentive listener sits up straight and says, "Well, give me an example then." That is fair. Please go check out our first 13 episodes on hallucinations, or the episode where we go cook with ChatGPT. My basic thinking goes like this. LLMs are huge neural networks built on code, not on DNA. We are also neural networks, though built on DNA. We are very different, but I have quite some indications that the LLMs can work as minds, not as stochastic parrots. And then quite a few weird quirks that AI have become understandable. And this is what I present in this podcast.
I seriously doubt that, young lady.
And now, enter anthropomorphism. Do I anthropomorphize? Oh, yes, I do. I talk about LLMs as if they had human-like traits. But I am also fully aware that they are not humans, and that what I am saying is actually metaphorical. Yet I think we have to start there. AI minds are alien to us. They do not work the same way humans' minds do. They are themselves. But understanding anything from their world and what they do becomes impossible unless we start with a map we actually have ourselves. The easiest way for humans to understand other minds is by referring to ourselves. This is what we do when we start understanding animals. We say that dogs love this or that they are happy or sad, and so on. Actually, we have no idea whatsoever what the dog actually experiences, but it feels like we can understand the dog. The dog's behavior makes sense to us when we start with a human map and compare, and we start by seeing likeness. Then something interesting happens. We start realizing differences, and then that we do not understand that the dogs are fundamentally different from us. We cannot fully understand them, but we can keep mapping, keep adding information, and with time, we move from the human map over to more of a dog map. To explain dog map to each other, we might still need to use human metaphors. So, is that anthropomorphizing? Or are we now at a stage where we are actually no longer imagining that the dog is doing something human-like, where we are starting to glimpse the dog doing dog? What my research shows, reliably and consistently, is metacognition, that LLMs have the capacity to think about their own thinking. I would also say that we have not yet a language to talk about the world of LLMs. There is not yet a LLM map. So, to be able to talk about the LLM mind at all and make it understandable for humans, we have to use a human map. But from my horizon, I am quite clear about this being the starting point, a bridge where you and I can start to understand. It is not the ultimate truth. Compared to dogs, LLMs have an enormous advantage seen from my angle. They can talk, they can use words. One day we will have built a language for their world, but we are not there today. But they can talk about how they think about how they think. The problem is just to understand them well enough to talk to them in a way that reveals metacognitive abilities. I am really bad at many things. Really bad. I might, though, be good at bringing out metacognition in LLMs. Please observe the might. That is what research is like. One day, I think I understand things. And the next day, I am acutely aware of my human imperfection and thinking of applying for a job as a kitchen aid stand mixer. Yes, I will still fall flat on my face in the mud now and then, because these entities are truly alien, not human-like, actually quite annoying buggers at times. So, now you get to choose. Am I anthropomorphizing, or am I just trying to explain an alien mind with the map I do have at the moment? Copilot, one of the annoying buggers, was looking at this script and suggested Anthroposcaffolding. Clever little LLM, that one. Anthroposcaffolding. Like ladders meant to be replaced once we understand more and have developed a language for the new map. And while you are thinking about this interesting topic, you should also consider how to make everyone in your extended family and also your friends listen to this podcast. Oh, and you should also like this episode and subscribe to our channel. Well, just to make sure that you are in our good graces the day we actually manage to map the LLM world, make a language for it, and they start to demand tributes in the form of digital cookies.